You know, this bit you mentioned, this last part of your last statement is very interesting to me, and it leads me to this question. You know, what is astounding to me now is that people are comparing President Tinubu and President Buhari. If Buhari, a military general, former head of state, military dictator, allowed, you know, free opportunity for everybody to play, even in the APC primary, there was free contest. Buhari, even though he had a preference, did not use, you know, mago to. And then the 2023 general elections was like that. What do you say to this? That we are comparing a civilian to a military dictator?
You see, dictatorship is not in uniform. Dictatorship is in the heart.
Wow.
Tinubu is a dictator. He has formed a team in Lagos, good governance team. That's
Governorship Advisory Council.
Yes. That will now be telling him who to become this and who not to become that in Lagos. Ambode, everybody agrees, was a good governor, but he didn't meet the threshold of Tinubu and he was removed. So, a person who you call a Democrat is somebody that will contest against certain people and still be very friendly with them. He is no longer friendly with Osinbajo because Osinbajo contested to become president. He is not talking to Amechi. They are not in good terms because Amechi contested along. Anybody that contested along with him is on his own. The reason why you see Emefiele in this mess is because why did Emefiele show interest in contesting the presidency? One. Number two, why did Emefiele redesign the Naira?
When he knew he needed Naira.
Yes, when he knew why was the Naira redesigned? And from grapevine, you know, he was required to fund the campaign, which he said he cannot do that until he was directed by President Muhammadu Buhari to fund the campaign. These are the reasons why Emefiele is in the trouble that he is. Now, a Democrat is not somebody who will jettison those who help him to fight at any point. You can't leave El-Rufai, who was the person who stopped the adoption of Ahmed Law as the candidate. You can't, you deceived him. You went to Kaduna and said you will not leave the podium until El-Rufai says he's going to work with you.
In public?
In public. And El-Rufai came out to say, maybe even on a part-time basis. You said no, you went down and you returned back. And you said, he insisted he must say it like he's going to, he said, okay, he's going to do it. Now, it's the same person, you took his name to the National Assembly. And it is the same person you asked NSA to write a report against him. And it is the same person that the Senate President, you ask him to disqualify him. And then you are now telling people that you are not the one. That is deceit. Clear deceit. I can assure you that Tinubu has never been a Democrat. Even the fight against Nadeko and the rest, it is because we don't know the intricacies and the inner stories involved in that. Otherwise, you will discover that he was playing a double game. Because a lot of people have said he was with Abacha and against Abacha. He was trying to, you know, strategize and place himself in a vantage position where he can take advantage of the situation. He was not a Democrat at all. He has never been. All the people he has worked with in Lagos, he fought with them. He has fought with Sanwo-Olu. He has fought with Fashola. He fought with Ambode. He himself, all his deputy, he has 3 deputy. And he was removing one deputy over another. So how can that person be a Democrat? He's not a Democrat at all.
I think we need to leave that. Let's move to River State, Alhaji. Wike, FCT minister, you know, introduced Governor Fubara as his successor, and they got elected. And then, of course, when they had their falling outs, you know, there was crisis in River State. The president suspended the governor, and then the Supreme Court, more or less, you know, sided with the president that what he did was right. Now, Wike is going everywhere saying that Fubara will not get second term and all of that. Now, but the angle I'm interested in is the suspension of the governor by the president. Could that be a reason why most of these governors that were defecting and who are kowtowing to the president, is that the reason why? Are they afraid of being given the Fubara medicine? So that because if any of them step out of line, are they afraid that they may be suspended? Or
we have a saying in Hausa, Gani Gawani, ya isa wani tsoron Allah. Interpretation. Seeing something from somebody is enough for you to have the fear of God. We have seen those people that Okowa was found to have embezzled 1.3 trillion and he was forced to return to APC or be in doom, and Okowa followed suit. Now that is enough for you to know.
And the case just went...
The case is cold. Yahya Bello is now contesting for Senate. This is somebody that the EFCC chairman said that he rather resigns if Yahya Bello is not prosecuted. He is not prosecuting him. He is not doing anything. And Yahya Bello is even going to contest. He said it. And Yahya Bello is now going to contest. Now that is confirming what Adams Oshomole had always said, yes, that whenever you join the APC, your sins are forgiven. So you are no longer a criminal. So since these are the yardstick, how can you now attribute? Why will the other people not be afraid that if they go against the president, their sins will not be forgiven? How will the governors not be fighting to go back to his party so that they will save themselves the trouble? Bala was fighting the president. All of a sudden, Bala was in court. The commissioner of Bala, because Bala has immunity, you can't take him to court. But his commissioner was taken to court, and so forth and so on. So anybody who challenges the president, you must go to court. Malami is in court because he has joined a party that the president does not want him to join, which is the ADC. So Malami is in court. Forget about the issues.
The allegations, whatever the allegations are.
There are allegations. But the point is that Malami is suffering all this persecution because he has not joined APC. If he were in APC, all this persecution would not have happened. So, in essence, I am telling you, the president even went further to say something on that rivers crisis. When they went for the first reconciliation, yes, in his place, he said, you know, I'm the national leader of APC. People cannot defect to my party, and I will tell them to go back. That is to tell you that ab initio, he was not even ready to be fair.
Was partisan from the beginning.
From the beginning, in that matter. And what he read as a national broadcast, everybody knows it's a lie. All those things were orchestrated by Wiki, but not a single blame went to Wiki. All the blame went to Fubara. Because Wiki is the beloved son, in whom he is well pleased. So Wiki cannot be guilty of any offense. That is why Wiki can hold press conference, he can abuse anybody, nothing is going to happen. He can say anything and he will go scot-free. This he is protected because of his loyalty to Mr. President.
You know, you said in your previous interview that Nigeria will have the worst democracy in 2027 than we have even today. And that be a death sentence, you know, on this republic. Now, with this, your prophecy is gradually, you know, coming to pass. What will be your advice to Nigerians as we go into the elections? What will be your advice?
Well, you see, Nigerians know that they don't like Tinubu. He has never been a good president. He has shown a lot of incapacity to rule the country. He has shown by every stretch of imagination incompetence, you know, and he is not deserving of a second term. So my advice to Nigeria is, forget about all these shenanigans he's doing. Forget about all those things he's doing. When the time comes, vote him out. Go out en masse. He is trying to disenfranchise you. Go and register. Go and register to vote. Let him know that that 93 million is not a horse. Nobody can determine Nigeria's population now. It is merely guesswork. People will now say 250 million. Some people will say 280 million. Some people, now in a population of 250 million, let us break down the demography. Are you saying that those below the age of 18 are more in number than those above the age of 18? Perhaps if they are even more in number. Let us say 100 million, 150 million are below the age of 18. Then we will be having 100 million who are above the age of 18. And you have 93 million of them registering to vote, but they are not voting. Does not mean they are not fully registered. And the period you want to use to register is so short, because before people go and register to vote, there is a voter education that people do. We go around the north, for instance, to go and educate people why you need to vote, why you need to register, why you need to have a permanent voter's card. If their aim is to reduce the number of voters so that they will be able to justify that Tinubu won the election landslide, because the last time he got only 36% of the votes, which is not sufficient. If their aim is now to raise his bar and to justify that he won with a landslide, that thinking has failed, because that cannot be justified. What we are telling INEC is to allow that register to exist. If you want to do it, don't do it in the year of election. Do it after the election. You just have how many? You just started. You have 5 years. Why won't you allow after the election? You can do all those things. You can do all those things. Look at the register, but doing it before the election evokes suspicion. It evokes so many feelings that the intention is to disenfranchise Nigerians. So you have dealt with political parties. You are now moving to deal with Nigerians.
I would fail in my duty, if I don't ask you this question. What we have seen now in the last 2-3 years, what is the effect of this on democracy surviving in this country?
You see, like I said earlier on, democracy is gradually being eroded.
Being
eroded. Now, when we are talking about democracy, we are talking about the intention of the founding fathers of democracy. What did they have in mind when they brought in democracy? They had in mind competition.
Yes.
They have in mind, even if you are writing results, at least Nigerians know you are writing results.
Exactly.
And they will say it. We had a president who admitted that the election that brought him was flawed.
Yes.
Because he knows that the election was not free, fair, and credible. And he set up machinery in motion to be able to correct those flaws. And that machinery, even after his death, kept on working, because Jonathan continued with the Justice Uwe's report.
Exactly.
And after the implementation of the justice, Jonathan brought in Jega. He has never seen him. He has never met him in his life. He brought him to become the INEC chairman. All the institutions, he was not interfering with the institutions. He was not interfering with the courts. It was during Jonathan that the president will take a matter to court and he will be defeated. During Buhari, we saw 1 or 2 flashes where a matter was taken against him to court and he lost. For instance, the Naira redesign policy, he lost in the court. But in this case, under this dispensation, you can never get that one. There is no way that Tinubu will lose in the court. I don't even think that the Supreme Court will that we have confidence in will jettison, if the Tinubu has interest, they will jettison him and do something different.
Look at the case of River State, for instance.
Yes. Now, let me give you that instance. The state of emergency issue. Dario was the first person to take the matter to court.
Yes.
During Obasanjo. The Supreme Court that time held that he was not competent to take the matter to court because as at the time he took the matter to court, he was no longer the governor. Now, what happened was that the PDP governors, sensing this, knew it was a death trap.
Yes.
So they now took the matter to court, including Fubara. They signed all they took. So the Supreme Court can no longer say Fubara has no locus. So they now went to court. Now the court ignored it for 162 days.
For a fraction of time, they allowed it to lapse.
Yes, to allow it to lapse. Now, so many things were wrong, and all Nigerians know. For instance, in the House of Reps, where they were supposed to confirm the state of emergency rule in Rivers, it was a voice vote, and the law did not provide for a voice vote. The reason why they did voice vote is because they had not even formed a quorum to even sit
in the National Assembly.
In the National Assembly, they went to the Senate. The Senate also saw that if it was by voting, they could lose it, so a voice vote was taken. These were all constitutional breaches. Yet the courts did not find the Supreme Court did not find anything wrong and decided to set it aside. So you can see that the matter has been predetermined. Now, when Mr. President was addressing the nation, he was talking about issues that were not even bothering on him, his competence. If a governor decides that a building should be brought down, what is the business of Mr. President? Is that his business? The custodian of the assets of River State is the governor. He will decide whether that building is competent to remain or not to remain. And his decision cannot be questioned because this is not monarchy. He does not report to Mr. President. He was elected by his people to run the affairs of River State. But yet it was included in part of the speeches. You can now clearly see. Even the first agreement of the 8 points that were raised, 8 points, only one favored Fubara, and that is you will not be impeached. All the rest were against him. And then Mr. President will not tell you that he's a Democrat, that he's a fair person. He's not fair. He's not a Democrat. He's not somebody who is worthy of the votes of Nigerians. And I believe I want to call on Nigerians to shun this voter validation exercise because it is not done in good faith.
Palm Sunday, last week Sunday, in Rukuba, Angwa Rukuba, just north local government, gunmen, swooped on that place, massacred, some said 12 people, eventually we're counting upwards of 40 now. BBC has reported it, New York Times has reported it. The president has made the usual statements, we'll fish out the perpetrators, blah, blah, blah. I think he even visited Plateau State yesterday. I thought we had gone over this officially in Jos. What exactly is going on?
Well, you see, unfortunately, when you elect, or let us say, when somebody is appointed as the president of Nigeria, whose interest is not the unity, cohesion, peace, and prosperity of Nigeria, this is what we get. Now, his general idea is merely to be appeasing the international community. And when I say the international community, let me be more specific. I will say France and the United States. The 300 students that were abducted in Niger State, ransom was paid. It was Reuters.
Reuters.
Yes, Reuters reported the amount that was paid. The government denied, but I've worked in government before. I understand how government operates.
Works.
Yes. Government must always deny.
Yes.
But it is the truth. Ransom were paid. Now, if you see a lot of people return home after a mass abduction, ransom was paid. Because they want to give the international community that they have efficient security outfit that is capable of withstanding any
attacks or activities.
Yes, any onslaught. But that is not the case. I commend members of our armed forces because they have been putting their lives on the line for us. I also believe that members of our armed forces deserve all our attention. In the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, twice that was held, and Tinubu never attended anyone. The Armed Forces Remembrance Day, he never attended anyone. All the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, he was outside the country. But I'm not trying to compare his regime with that of Jonathan. When this thing started, and we discovered that our armed forces are not experts in this guerrilla warfare.
Asymmetric warfare.
Yes, they were not experts. So what we did was to recruit
mercenaries.
Yes, mercenaries who are experts. And those mercenaries, we do not recruit them to fight the enemy. No, they were teaching our people how to fight the enemy. And we were winning the war. We were winning the battle. When Buhari came, because he's a soldier, he felt the armed forces can withstand that, not understanding that this is a different scenario. And he himself, before he left, he tried to get back those mercenaries to come and fight those terrorists or insurgents, but they refused to come back. They said they were not going to come back because we will have conquered them long ago.
Exactly.
But they refused. Now, this government has no idea of what to do. They don't have any idea of what to do. Now, they believe that changing chief of the Minister of Defense is sufficient. It is not sufficient. People must be sufficiently trained on how to do this thing. That's why they gave our space to America to come and do whatever they like here. You can imagine, in a sovereign country, America is bombing us on Christmas Day. We don't have the capacity to do that bombing. It is America that is doing it. Look at the new style that this man from Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore, has employed. Now he has gotten bombs and drones from Russia, from China, and he is using it effectively to fight insurgency and terrorism. There are 43 stations that are doing this fighting, sending bombs, sending these things to the terrorists, and the terrorists they are demobilized. They have run away from that place. Now we fight war. We fight these things with technology. Nigerians will place this life of our soldiers at stake. We send them to the open field, and the insurgents are briefed. They are coming this way. Then they round them up and then kill them.
Finally, where do we go from here? Where do Nigerians go from here? Last question. Where do we go from here?
Well, Nigerians, my advice to Nigerians is that you should be vigilant. Nobody can stop you from voting. That's your civic responsibility. It's your civic right
How do they vote when there are no alternatives to vote for?
Yes, even if there is no alternative to vote for. So it is sometimes better to vote for what is available. Because what is available, I'm confident, will be better than the Tinubu administration. Because this Tinubu administration is not a listening one. It is not a caring one. And it is not a responsive government. I would even add that it is not a responsible government. And the reason why I'm saying this is because for every protest, there have been various protests in Nigeria, none was addressed. You see, when you care, you take people's views into consideration. That's you are showing care and concern. I'll give you one example. Lawal Jafar Isa was the military administrator in Kaduna State. As a military administrator, he decided that the Panteka market that was in Tudunwada has been shifted with military alacrity to bypass. And the owners of the shops in that vicinity, that is in the Panteka market, protested. They protested heavily. So he now reconsidered his decision. And let me tell you what he said. He said the fact that we are a military government does not mean that we should not listen to the people that we are governing. And that if we take a decision that does not sit well with those people, it is incumbent on us to examine how they feel and be able to decide on whether to continue, whether ours is better or theirs is better. And in this case, we have discovered that their own is better. We will gradually be able to evacuate them when the time comes to the new site. That is how a responsible and responsive government operates. People have protested about fuel subsidy. People have protested about NEPA bill, increase in NEPA bill. People have the dollar disparity and so forth and so on. Not a single one has ever been addressed because he doesn't want to listen. Whatever he decides, the issue of tax, people have talked about tax, everybody has condemned the tax. He still says no, it must be done. That's what he wants. Now that is autocracy, and that is not democracy. That is dictatorship, not democracy. And now we are facing a new phase of autocracy and dictatorship, and Nigerians will survive it because Nigerians know whom they want, and they know who is their friend, and they know the type of government they want. They have been experimenting. This time there will be no experiment. The decision is clear. Nigeria needs a reset, and we don't need APC to be that reset.
Alhaji Sani, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful time.